I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of the Shooting Show, and friends, welcome to today's program. Stunningly beautiful fall day here in Louisiana. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are in our still great country. You know, friends, this of course is the jungle gun. You've seen this gun many times here on our program. A remarkable shotgun, very effective for certainly one of the most effective devices for defense ever. Let me show you another device. See this right here? This is a bucket, the Louisiana bucket actually, for the Klamath Falls Bucket Brigade. And this is another way of defending our freedom. Thanks to our good friend Ed Hubble. Ed managed to get this bucket for us here on the program. Ed Hubble there in Michigan. Certainly you've seen him on television a number of times yourself. And this has a very important statement painted on the side of this bucket. It says, amend the Endangered Species Act. So even this humble bucket, and certainly we were proud to help those folks out there, because we're talking 1,400 farm families that are losing their farms, losing their livelihood. You see, the government told them that they'd always have water to get them to move out there, something like 100 years ago. But this is another shining example of government is not a deity. It's just people in offices. And when different people come in, sometimes they change their minds. And they're subject to all kinds of things of the moment, like the latest regulations thing. Realize that this Endangered Species Act came right out of the evil United Nations. And because of some kind of catfish, sucker bottom feeding catfish in a lake there in Klamath Falls that was established to irrigate the land, that's why the lake was built. But thanks to the Endangered Species Act, 1,400 farm families are going to lose their livelihood. And oh, there's going to be a meeting, there's going to be hearings and all that. But friends, it's all too late. People have already lost a solid year. Tell you what, how about any of us taking a year off from our jobs, where our expenses go on, our food bill go on, our fuel bill goes on, the animals have to be fed, but we have zero income for a year. Now that's going to ruin most of us. And yet that's what happened to those folks out in Klamath Falls. So we're very proud to be standing in support of a group that is resisting literally runaway government, runaway environmentalists, the runaway evil United Nations. And friends, it's important to see, if we do it now with this here, if we do it now with the bucket, maybe, just maybe, we hope and pray we won't have to do it with these. You know, I had an example this week. Some of you remember the Dukes of Hazzard TV show? And to me, it was some sort of just a little comedy show that had people driving around in the cars and acting silly, you know. Well, they've been off the air for years, and they're in reruns around the country. But do you realize that recently there was a Dukes of Hazzard get-together, Duke Fest? And this show hadn't even been on. I mean, there's nothing but about having fun. The people out in the country driving a fast car around and jumping stuff. I mean, we're not talking rocket science here, okay? They had a Duke Fest, and I'm not against this. I'm not against people getting together having fun, not at all.
What about the 10?
But friends, they had 10,000 people show up. 10,000 people came because of a pretend TV show, and they were just having fun. 10,000 people showed up from all over the country. There were 30-something replica General Lee cars, and of course, at least it had a Confederate flag on it named General Lee. Of course, they couldn't do that show today because of the Confederate flag being so politically incorrect, but back in the 80s, I don't guess it mattered. It really didn't matter until Bill Clinton got in office and used it, and others used it for their own purposes to try and create hate, try and create dissension. But realize that 10,000 people showed up. Have a gun owners rally. How many people come? 10, 50, 100? You know, freedom is the greatest thing to celebrate that we have as free Americans. Granted to us, affirmed to us, passed down by our founding fathers. And so many of our gun owners so ambivalent about, oh, well, yeah, we got freedom, we got these guns. Let me tell you what, friends, if we don't develop some, we need to get some of the enthusiasm that the Dukes of Hazzard has. We need to get some of the enthusiasm that a car show has. You know, we've got to, if we're going to reclaim our country, if we're going to survive as the United States of America, we've got to get some of that enthusiasm. We've got to get people out away from their goofy shows on network TV and get them participating in defending our freedom on the home front. You know, speaking of defending our freedom on the home front, we saw here where a security guard at a nuclear power plant happened to catch some people that were trying to get on the power plant reservation. Well, she went running after one of them, and they were dark-skinned people, as in Middle Eastern, and they spoke a strange language. There were 4 of them. And, of course, this woman security guard went out there, and one of the fellas hit her, and that was it. You know, friends, we should not have women going up against armed men. Women security guards get minimum wage. Friends, this whole experiment, and I'm sorry, and if she was armed and she had a gun, she could have defended herself, maybe, certainly, had a good chance of it, but no, she got in a wrestling match with a man, and he hit her, and that was it. And of course, the men got away. You know, at some point, we must examine what we're doing and how we're doing it. So, something else, we have here a Justice Department report on criminal gun use indicates that criminals get their guns from family, from friends, and from theft. It says here from the Justice Department's own report, less than 1% got their guns at gun shows. There is no gun show loophole, friends, but idiot John McCain doesn't get it. And do you think the Brady Bill people, now they want more gun regulation, when the Justice Department of the U.S. government, as lame as they are most of the time in getting things right, and normally their error will be on the side of the anti-gun people, even they're saying that criminals don't get their guns at dealers or even at gun shows, even flea markets. We've been saying this the whole time. You know, friends, the reason we struggle so hard to stay here is because you don't get these messages anywhere else, nowhere else on TV, nowhere else. And I think these messages are so important. And many of you do too. And friends, it is such a struggle. We're trying, our bio-choice is helping us. It's certainly anything we sell helps us. But certainly we don't have enough income to offset our expenses here on the program. We're working on it. A few months down the road, we're going to have some more stuff to sell, and we think we will. But we're not there now. If you can help us stay on the air, our shooting show address, 327 Irvin Rowland Road, Double Louisiana, zip code 71024. If you can help us, friends. If you can help us, please do, because we desperately need it. Times have gotten hard for a lot of people. Part of our monthly income due to the downturn in the economy and the things that have happened, some of those things have gone away. If you want to see us continue here on the air, hey, if we can't stay on TV, we're still on the radio. Don't forget that, but still, we want to stay on television with our message about freedom and about how to properly handle firearms and what they're for and just how important they are in our society. You know, seeing the shotgun, I saw recently where some reserve deputies in Missouri bought some full auto guns, and of course the local paper's trying to give them problems about it. Friends, it's so misunderstood what full auto guns, they just shoot more than one time. It's bang, 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 bang versus, you know, the anti-gun people are so afraid. Let me tell you what, this shotgun within its intended range will run all over a full auto gun, run all over an AR-15 or an MP5. This shotgun literally will run all over. You've got, every time you pull the trigger, you've got, in the case of this buckshot, you've double-aught buck, you've got 9 projectiles exiting that barrel. You know, the good news is the anti-gun people really hadn't got a grip on some of the most effective guns that we have. Little demonstration here. Plus, friends, the shotgun is faster than any subgun. I think that makes a point.
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, this is the new Georgia Arms 20th anniversary catalog. Of course, has a memorial there to our good friend Jim Clark there on the cover. This is a terrific catalog from the finest ammunition maker in the United States. They have all kinds of great prices on all sorts of ammunition: 243 Winchester, 270s, 7.62 by 39 Russian, all kinds of great stuff. They've even got 308 tracers, 30-06 tracers, all kinds of neat stuff here in this great new Georgia Arms catalog. They have components if you want to load your own ammo, and look here, we've got the Shooting Show and our new 460 Rowland kit on sale as well. Georgia Arms has the best prices for custom grade ammunition that I'm aware of in the United States, and guess what else? They're helping to support our Shooting Show. Friends, give them a call today. Free phone call, free catalog. 1-800-624-6861, 1-800-624-6861, Georgia Arms, and please remember to tell them that you heard it and saw it here on our program.
Now, friends, we're going to look at some guns. A lot of people concerned about these, so I tell you what, when given a choice, I wouldn't want to use a box cutter in defense. I'm going to go for a gun. But these are 3 compact handguns. This is the Glock Model 36. This, of course, is the compact Kimber. And this is a Ruger 357 Magnum GP100 with a 4-inch barrel. And you'll see that these small autos are roughly equivalent, well, a little bit smaller actually, than the 357 Magnum auto. And of course, the little Glock here is about the same size as a little Kimber. The Glock, of course, operating differently. The only safety, external safety on the Glock is this little tab right here on that trigger. So you've got to be aware, and any Glock needs to be carried in a dedicated a holster or a compartment in a purse, because you want to keep anything. If you have the chamber loaded, you want to keep anything out of this trigger guard that could possibly depress, and we know these guns are empty. We're still going to point over here to be safe, to be sure that nothing gets in that trigger guard and can pull that trigger, because if that thing was loaded, it would go off. Now then, the little Kimber, of course, has a external thumb safety here. It also has the redundant safeties of the basic 1911 design. But certainly you want to carry this, if you carry it in a briefcase or in a purse. I'm nervous about carrying a gun like this
in a purse or something with the hammer cocked and the safety locked on, because in movement you possibly could somehow wipe that safety off. And again, you've got a grip safety on these guns, but through some freak, I just want to be safe and not sorry. So a freak accident might set it off. So if I was going to carry one of these in a purse or briefcase, I would carry it with a chamber empty, because it only takes a moment to rack the slide. And of course, our 357 is a superior defensive gun. It's just a little bit bigger. There are smaller 357 Magnum guns, but the smaller 357s become a little more difficult to shoot. This is an advantage that the 45 ACP has in the smaller guns. It is a mild cartridge, and no, a 45 is not going to be equal in these short guns. The 45 is not going to be equal to the best load in 357, but they're pretty darn good. They make a lot less noise and easier to shoot.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The big reason for supporting the enforcement of federal gun laws, all of which the gun lobby opposed, called for by supporters of Project Exile, is to lower crime and take the oomph out of gun control. It turns out that the data do not support the claims of Exile supporters. Richmond, Virginia was the flagship city for Project Exile. It was launched in 1997. Trouble is, crime went up that year. According to FBI crime records, a review of Richmond's murder record shows that murder did start dropping in 1995 and 1996 and resumed the downward trend in 1998. What happened in 1995? Virginia's concealed carry law was vastly improved in that year, forcing judges to issue concealed handgun carry permits to applicants unless they could prove they were criminals, insane, fugitives from justice, or drug abusers. Philadelphia is another city that followed suit in 1999, kicking off their Project Exile program with much ballyhoo. What did crime do that year? It went down. A review of Philadelphia's murder statistics show that murder started declining in 1997 and 1998. Exile can hardly take credit for either the Philadelphia or the Richmond decline. What happened in Philadelphia in 1997? It was the first year that the anti-gun politicians of the city were forced to comply with the rest of the state and come under the shall issue concealed carry law, as in the rest of Pennsylvania and in Virginia. Dr. John Lott has shown from his massive 18-year study of all the jurisdictions in the U.S. that crime rates are only impacted by concealed carry laws. Namely, the easier it is for citizens to legally carry what they have a constitutional right to bear anyway, the lower the violent crime rates. Or, as Lott put it in his book title, More Guns, Less Crime. Supporters of Project Exile, or its sequel, Project Safe Neighborhoods, would better spend their time working for reforms in the nation's concealed carry laws rather than enforcing laws that not only are unconstitutional, but have nothing to do with fighting crime. Gun owners certainly do not want to unleash more federal gun prosecutors, as called for in Project Safe Neighborhoods, with the attitude of U.S. Attorney James Comey, as reported in the May 21st, 2001 edition of U.S. News and World Report, quote, "Gun possession itself is a crime of violence," end quote. Crime will go down when more good guys are packing on the streets. The criminals already are carrying concealed. It's time for the rest of us to follow suit. From Washington, this is Larry Pratt for Gun Owners of America.
Join Gun Owners of America. You can call them at 888-886-GUNS. That's 888-886-4867, or find them on the internet. Remember, friends, they're supporting our project. Let's support them too.
Now, friends, regardless, I tell you what, if someone is not going to be a regular or certainly enthusiastic shooter, I recommend a revolver because of simplicity. I don't recommend carrying a gun like, well, any of the semi-autos for that matter, with a chamber loaded in an uncontrolled situation, like in a briefcase, where rubbing around, if you had it on cocked and locked, movement inside the briefcase might push that safety off. These are things we have to think about. Certainly, I don't like the Glocks in an uncontrolled situation with a loaded chamber. Now, you're going to have to give some thought to this, but any of the small 45s are not going to be as violent, say, or as difficult to control as a small 357. Now, this, of course, is a medium size, medium frame 357 Magnum in this Ruger GP100. But the small autos are probably going to be easier for most people to shoot. But, you know, we're not worried at close range like this. We have to be concerned about making shots count. So now when more Americans are thinking about their self-defense, we're going to show you something that could save your life. Dennis Crocker sent me over a letter the other day. It was an account of a shooting in South Africa, whereas someone who was inside a restaurant had to deal with 3 attackers at one time. And we assume that this individual was shooting a 9mm with full metal jacket or ball ammunition, and certainly the 9 is just not, especially with ball ammo, it's just not terribly effective. It'll put holes in stuff, great penetration, not much shocking power. But the lesson was this: after the man dealt with the 3 attackers in the restaurant, he went outside, and guess what? There were 3 more. Memory serves correct, it was 6 altogether. There were 3 more outside. We're going to show you something here that just may save your life. Most of us, go ahead and load these guns, most of us are not mentally or emotionally prepared for a real altercation. Let me show you something that Dennis is teaching in our grass shooting discipline, and I think this is a terrific idea. Now just watch. We're gonna have to deal with 2 threats here immediately, and we'll go ahead, and our times on all these guns, all 3 of them, are going to be similar. But watch what I do. Literally, this could save your life. So we'll go ahead and we'll punch the timer, and we're going to deal with both targets. See what I just did? Now put the gun on safe. After shooting, I went back and scanned the other target, because I might need to shoot that target again. See? Scan the target. Wait a minute. The threat may not be over. Maybe somebody over there. Maybe somebody back in there that we don't see. Wait a minute. Don't put the gun down. Scan the area. Scan the area. Look. That could save your life. Because now, take my hearing protection out a little bit so I can hear. We're hearing more about home invasions. And this is something to be concerned about. We're hearing about more of them. Not just from the Islamics, but from drug addicts, from people that may want to invade your home and take what you have. We're hearing about more of these things. So when we fire, go ahead and unload this gun. 1, 2, 3. When we shoot the gun, check the targets. One of them might need to be shot again. Don't just shoot, bang, put the gun down. No, no, no. Stay alert. Stay ready. You know, that really was outstanding on this individual that was in the restaurant there in South Africa. Say he reloaded his gun. I don't know if the police, maybe he was going outside to intercept the police, whatever else, but he got outside, there were more threats. So this is an excellent point. When we've dealt with a problem, whether it's with, let me put my hearing protection in, say it again. Look around the area, look, see what we've got, look. Don't put the gun down, don't go to rest, wait a minute. This one may have to be down again.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
For folding stocks, for pistol grips, for regular stocks, for replacement stocks, for magazine extension tubes for your shotgun, for magazine replacement springs for your shotgun. How about the executive eye scraper, the executive letter opener, all from Choate Machine and Tool when you call for a free catalog. You can get the executive letter opener, a multi-purpose tool, or the executive eye scraper, a multi-purpose tool, for only your choice, only $2 when you call for a free Choate catalog. You can get both of them for $4, a $10 value. Friends, if you're a shooter or a gun owner, you need one of the Choate Machine and Tool Company catalogs. Call them today, 1-800-972-6390. In Ball Knob, Arkansas, they're helping to support our project. You need one of their catalogs. Again, 1-800-972-6390. And please remember to tell them that you saw it here on our show.
And now for our sport group friends, we have custom leatherwork and saddlery and denim springs